Update. My BF, 26M, found out I'm 26F, rich and started using it against me. Original post. After I made the Reddit post, I tried to have a conversation with him, but he kept stonewalling me. He made more snide comments and I decided to break up. When I told him that I was leaving him, it felt like he was expecting it. He called me a rich bitch, and went on a rant about how I was leaving him because he was poor. Some commenters told me to expect this, but it still came as a shock. He and I have very good salaries and I don't know why he said that. He was a good person most of the time I knew him. Some people asked me why I didn't warn him about my wealth. All my relationships before him were with people in my social class. So the expectation of wealth was implicit. Having wealth was not a big deal in any of my previous relationships. So I assumed it was the same in this one too. I'll warn my partners before taking them home in my future relationships. This is a tangent, but I wanted to talk about, I'm not rich. My parents are, thing that many comments suggested. A lot of my friends from wealthy families use that line as a defense, but it is misleading. If I wanted to, I could dip into my parents' finances. I choose not to. But it is still my wealth too. It might technically be my parents' money, but it still makes me wealthy. And having wealthy parents comes with a lot of privileges even if I don't actively use their money. I never had to work a job when I was studying. I had access to the best schooling. I don't have student loans and my parents' connections open a lot of doors. Having a safety net let me find what I was good at and let me take risks. So, unless they are estranged from their families, children from wealthy families are also wealthy. I thank all the people who commented on my original post and gave me advice. I felt like I was doing something wrong. But you made me see that it was his insecurity and jealousy that was the issue. Having a safety net let me find what I was good at and let me take risks. Excellent point. A lot of people don't understand how big of a deal that is. Even if you're not taking risks. Just knowing if you get laid off, get injured, have your house burned down or whatever, that you have a safe place to go to and money to get back on your feet can be a huge stress relief. You sounds like you have a good head on your shoulders. I'm sorry he pulled the "because I'm poor" card. But you know it isn't true and don't internalize it. You broke up with him because he was acting like an asshole. Thanks for this update. I thought this was where your relationship was headed. And it was definitely for the best. It makes me wonder if, once you get a bit of space from this, you're going to look back and remember some little things that maybe seemed like nothing at the time but in hindsight serve as some kind of clue or sign. It's so weird to me that he turned on a dime like this if your relationship was otherwise fine. I could understand being taken aback by seeing your parents' house if he had no heads up on it. And I agree that you should give some kind of heads up in future relationships. Not that you did anything wrong here at all. But to go from being a pretty good boyfriend to what he became based on all of this. Oof. I wonder what deep-rooted insecurities got so quickly unearthed in him. Good for you. I just wanted to point out that it may not be the best idea to broadcast your family's wealth when dating. I think it's appropriate to wait until the relationship is more serious before mentioning it. Having been in your now ex-boyfriend's shoes before, I think this is his problem. When I was told of my then-girlfriend's wealth, it didn't change anything between us. But it was nice to know before I met her family, so I wasn't surprised. I really appreciate how much you grasp what your position and your parents' position in life gave you as far as built-in advantages. It's a shame your immature ex couldn't see past his own issues to recognize that you are quite aware and conscious of your own privilege. His loss. Good luck on the next one. What upsets me about this is that you have such a great attitude about this. But your ex still couldn't cope. I grew up very poor. But my friends were quite well off as I lived in a fairly wealthy area. Like you. They weren't total wankers. So this wasn't an issue. I can't see what your ex's problem is here. I just want to say I really appreciate that you understand your wealth and how it has opened doors for you, provide you with comfort, with leads to opportunities. People who have generational wealth. I am not one of them. Are not bad people. They aren't spoiled or anything like that. But they are lucky. I think if more wealthy people had your attitude, yes, my family's wealth has helped me, the world would be a better place. And good riddance to the boyfriend. As a dude who is poor as fuck and married himself a very wealthy doctor lady. Your dude sucked. You did the right thing. My wife has never made me feel bad about not having money when we dated. She let me take her on cheap dates I could afford when I wanted to treat her to something. He was an insecure ass. I found my wife's drive and passion to be successful very sexy. She's a strong, independent woman and I find that very, very attractive. It's never been an issue in our relationship. Her support and love got me from selling fire extinguishers to being the director of sales for my province in a countrywide digital marketing firm. All because she helped me see I had something to offer. My insecurity wasn't based on her money. It was on me being a single father from a cheating wife and just feeling worthless in my parents' basement. She found that very endearing, what I sacrificed in pride to be a proper father and try to get back on my feet. She also has very rich parents and again, none of them treated me as less than and they all knew I had nothing. When I moved in with my wife, I had all the stuff I bought my kid. One backpack of clothes for myself and a PlayStation 4. That's it. I owned nothing but a console and enough clothes for 5 days, then all the shit I bought my kid. Now, she wanted a big property and I am a trophy husband who works part-time so he isn't on an allowance. Lol. It can work just fine if the person you are with isn't a dick. My wife jokes that part of the reason she wanted to be successful was so that she could marry poor, if that's who she fell in love with, and not have to worry about money, and lucky for me I was that poor dude. I still remember the first trip she ever took me on. She took me to Vegas. I had never been anywhere really. And walked into this store, saw a purse and a wallet she liked and dropped $4,000 like it was nothing. I almost fucking died, lol. That was more than my last 2 vehicles cost combined. But it never made me think she was a rich bitch. I just thought, holy shit, this chick's a baller. What the fuck is she doing with my dumb ass? But too bad for her. I put a ring on it and like a sucker she said yes, lol. Though it took me 7 months to save the money for the ring. She said she would have been fine with anything and I 100% believe she would be. But she is a successful doctor lady and if I was going to get her a ring, she needed to be able to roll with the other wealthy ladies in a ring off. It was the only time I have ever spent too much money on something and I was so proud of myself when I got to give it to her. Hell, I even tried for months to get her to do a prenup to protect her money and assets and she decided that me pushing for that was enough for her to believe it wasn't needed. So that fucking backfired. I don't think we will ever split. But I wanted her to know her money wasn't why I was with her. Good luck and great job kicking the dude to the curb. You seem to have a solid, realistic view of the benefit that your family's wealth brings you. That's awesome. And not always common. I'm sorry that one guy was a jerk. I've never understood guys being insecure when their partners have more money than them. My wife made more than me at periods in our relationship. I make more now. But if she got some giant raise, I would absolutely jump at being a kept man. Let me quit my job and dinner would be on the table at 5:30. Laundry done. House cleaned. Kids' school work handled. Glad you got away from that mess. His insecurities are suffocating. My girlfriend has her apartment paid for, her law school covered with 0 loans, and gets an allowance every week. As for me, I didn't come from much and my family was in debt a lot. My mom even had to sell off bonds for my college education to cover my dad's debts while I was still a baby. But all that being said, I never used her relative privilege against her, so this dude can fuck all the way off. LMAO. I'm really impressed with your self-awareness re. Your parents' wealth providing you with opportunities that you wouldn't have had otherwise. The "it's my parents' money, not mine" retort always seemed a bit naive to me. A person with a lower middle class upbringing. Sounds like you dodged a bullet with this jerk too. And I'm happy you've ditched him and can find someone who doesn't intertwine their entire identity with their class. Some people asked me why I didn't warn him about my wealth. Because you're smart. That's why. Nobody needs to know that until you decide they need to know. When my late husband and I had been dating for almost a year, we were on a road trip near where he grew up. And the following conversation happened. Him. You know. Insert name of well-known landmark. Me. Yep. Sure do. Him. That was named for my great-grandfather. Me. Him. And my family owns a beach house in North Carolina. Me. Him. And there's a trust fund I get a distribution from every quarter. Me. Laughing. Who are you? You're a trust fund baby living in a dumpy apartment? What the fuck? Turns out his family has money. Like, a lot of money. It is totally locked down in a trust so that spouses can't touch it. Not that I want their millions. But considering that he died unexpectedly only 4 months after we got married and didn't have life insurance, it would have been nice if they'd stepped up to fund the scholarship I'm trying to establish in his name. I asked why it took so long to tell me about it. And it's because he told his ex-wife right away. And as soon as they got married, barely a year after they met, she started trying to pressure him to get money out of the trust as soon as he made it clear that wasn't gonna happen. She divorced him. So he waited to tell me until he felt sure that I loved him just because of him. He made the right call. So did you? I don't know your boyfriend. But if I found out my GF is rich AF, I would be one. Happy too. Worried about my past gifts to her. But mostly happy since I know money may not be a problem in the future. We still have to work for us. Sucks that he internalized his own insecurity and projected it onto you. Not bringing up your wealth from jump makes sense. You want to make sure people are dating you for you and not your money. But you should have that conversation before meeting the family. Also, your understanding and approach to how your parents' wealth impacted your life is clear-eyed and thoughtful. Boyfriend really messed up since you don't seem showy or condescending about your status in the least. He sounds like a self-loathing, jealous kid with zero confidence in himself. You don't want this in your life. Go find someone with as much confidence and ambition as yourself. I, 28, come from an average family and my GF, 27, comes from a wealthy family but is very frugal and humble like yourself. If anything, she and her family have helped me. Not with actual finances. But they helped push me to be better and do more with my life, leading to a very high salary at a young age. I commented on the original post suggesting that you give him a chance to explain. Because he might have been uncomfortable meeting your family without pre-warning of your gap in Wealth. I regret giving him the benefit of the doubt now. What an immature man-child. I'm really sorry that it turned out this way op. But you seem like a really intelligent and mature woman and you deserve so much better. I hope you're doing okay. He set himself up for this. Gets upset you are rich and claims it makes you a bad person. Bad girlfriend. Spoiled. Don't actually want to be with him. Etc. etc. Acts like a dick. Gets broken up with and called out. Proves himself right. Congrats to him. He can be self-righteous on his own now. From a guy's perspective, you have the exact attitude that most normal functioning guys who either have money or come from upper middle class and above, that errant trust fund babies, tend to want. If you have money, a lot of women these days either 1. Don't have money and want to try to use you to buy the useless crap that they can't. Or 2. Have come from money and expect you to treat them like their daddy did. You seem to have your head on right. His loss. He definitely confirmed his own confirmation bias. I find it interesting how self-aware you are. Thinking face, I suspect that we would get along. Sorry your guy turned out to be a shit.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.